What is up, everybody? Skratch coming up with another Raid Shadow Legends video. We are currently on the test server. We're gonna have a look at a budget-ish clan boss team. So if you're struggling with Ultra Nightmare or with Nightmare clan boss, this might be the right video for you. This team will work on every single affinity and will work on Ultra Nightmare and Nightmare clan boss, and it will deliver amazing results. It's not very gear intensive by any means. You don't need to have crazy speeds. You don't need to have crazy champions. It is required to have one legendary champion, which was a past fusion, a very recent one. Now, I want to give a big shout out to my buddy Eidos. He was the one who actually showed me the team, and the team was created by another fellow content creator, Samael. I'm gonna leave the link to his video in the pinned comment so you guys can head over and check him out. And of course, smash that like button and drop him a subscribe. He's an awesome dude. Basically, this is kind of like his best result on Spirit, 73 million damage. Now, if I'm gonna pull over the calculator, the main champions that you gotta have is Hellseeker and Seeker. These two champions cannot be replaced from the team. What I really like about it is that this team goes on a 4-to-3 ratio. Every single champion goes on a 4-to-3 ratio, allowing you to drop in more damage. So if you stay to kind of like look around at the team, 220 is the highest speed, okay? 218, 206, 186, 182. Very low speeds for a team that will deliver such amazing results. And how I mentioned, Ultra Nightmare and Nightmare every single affinity. I'm gonna walk you through the entire process in just a second, but this is kind of like how the team looks. Now, before we move over to showcase the team, if you guys enjoyed the music you hear in the video, I just want to let you know I partnered up with Soundstripe. They have an amazing music library, so if you're a content creator, a music enthusiast, you're looking for some new music to put in your videos, on your streams, definitely head over and check them out. The link will be in the description down below. Plus, I can save you 15% on checkout on any subscription. Talking about this team, guys, how I mentioned, Ultra Nightmare, the stats are not that crazy. I'm gonna showcase you the stats in just a second, and I'm gonna show you tons of different options of what champions you can use. When we're talking about the third champion, the block debuff champion, that's gonna be pretty important. You're not gonna have tons and tons of options in that regard, but we have a few of them. So I have Sepulture Sentinel here. We can actually use different champions. Now, what you wanna have from that block debuffs champion is to be on a 4-turn cooldown and to land the block debuffs for 2 turns. So we have Skratch, we have Sepulture Sentinel, we have Smash Lord, and you can use different champions. Like, let's just say you have a Tatura and Tatura is not fully booked. If your Tatura is not fully booked on the block debuff skill, like this one right here, which one is it? This one. If it's on a 4-turn cooldown, you can use Tatura, but if she's fully booked, you cannot. So you cannot use block debuffs for 3-turn cooldown. They need to be 4-turn cooldown, okay? How I mentioned champions like that. Let's jump straight into it and have a look at what exactly I'm talking about. So here we are. This is the team that we're going to run, guys. We have Hellseeker, we have Skratch, we have Seeker, we have Fane, and we have Frozen Banshee. This team works on Nightmare, works on Ultra Nightmare, and is a pretty easy 2-key Ultra Nightmare and a 1-key Nightmare without a problem. Now let me show you some other teams that you could potentially use. I haven't put gear on every single one of them. I'm actually fully loaded with the first 2 teams. I'm gonna show both of the teams, but I haven't put gear on Smash Lord. I haven't put gear on Jingwan, for example. I haven't put gear on Eotar. He's not even leveled up properly. I don't have gear on Occult Brawler, but these are just kind of like other options and combos of champions that you can use. And probably you're wondering, Jingwan, Skratch, what are we talking about? Well, Jingwan actually has this passive that is gonna go on a 4-turn cooldown if you fully book it, and it's gonna remove the stun from all the allies. So regardless who's gonna be your stun target, this passive will come in play and will help your champions. Just so you guys know, Jingwan is not utterly trash. Like, you can find some uses for him if you really need to, you know what I mean? But just as an idea, we're gonna go with this team first. And the whole idea behind it, guys, is the team preset starts like this. On Hellseeker, we're actually gonna have him to start with the A2. We wanna have a 1-turn delay on his A3. My champions are all fully booked, okay? 100% booked. Seeker, we're not gonna have a delay on Seeker. Skratch, we need to have a 2-turn delay if we wanna start on any affinity except Spirit. So having a 2-turn delay, that means that Helicat is gonna be my stun target on Void affinity, is gonna be my stun target on Magic affinity, on Force affinity, Seeker is gonna be the stun target because he is the Magic affinity here, or we can have Frozen Banshee. Then we can still have 2-turn delay on the Cleanser or the block debuffs champion. Skratch, Sepulchre Sentinel, whoever you're using. If you wanna go against Spirit, you're only gonna need 1-turn delay, okay? So I'm actually gonna bring the calculator just to make it a bit more clear for whoever doesn't really understand what I'm saying here. If we're going on Void affinity, you wanna have it on a 2-turn cooldown. The reason for it is the best stun target out of here is either having Helicat, either Sepulchre Sentinel, but honestly the best is Helicat, just for the simple fact that he's more tanky, okay? He has a lot of defense. Now, because of it, if you don't have block debuffs on the right turn right here, a lot of champions will lose it, okay? And that means that if the clan boss stuns a different champion by a mistake or something like that, that's not gonna go too good for you, okay? And that's gonna mess up your rotation. So you wanna make sure you have this on a 2-turn delay. If you're going on Spirit affinity, this needs to be on a 1-turn delay. Now the reason for it is the stun target will be Sepulchre Sentinel because she is the Force affinity, weak affinity to the clan boss. And like that, she's gonna start putting block debuffs here, she's gonna take another turn here, and when the clan boss is gonna stun, she's still gonna have block debuffs. And that's gonna make it work on Spirit. Let's go into it. So this is the team preset. That's how Skratch is gonna start. We're gonna start on Oro, and I'm quickly gonna stop for a second. Fane, Frozen Banshee, doesn't really matter. So this is Ultra Nightmare, guys. The lead is our stun target, Helicat, how I mentioned. Let's crack on it, and I'm gonna show you how to set up the team. Very easy. So I'm gonna let it go on Oro for the very first turn. Then, before Skratch is gonna take his second turn, I'm actually gonna stop it, just to make sure I'm gonna delay his A3. So here we go. We stop it now. We're not gonna use the A3, we wanna have 1-turn delay. On Spirit affinity, you wanna use this now. If it's not Spirit, we're gonna use this. Click back Oro and forget about it. That's it, as easy as that. Super easy to set up as well. Every affinity, Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare clan boss, easy to key, guys. Now the whole idea behind it is, you want to make sure you have a champion that brings you defense down. You see, we have Helicat, that's going to give us weaken because we have accuracy on him. Frozen Banshee can be replaced by any other poisoner in the entire game that doesn't affect the turn meter. Champions that give you defense down, either bring in an Anax, either bring in a Ferakin the Fat. I don't even know who else to say, because there's so many different options out there. Bring Draco, Venus. Jintoro won't work on this team. Ninja won't work on this team because it's gonna mess up the entire tune. You gotta bring champions that don't mess up with the turn meter. They don't have crazy passives that are messing up the entire team, you know? So Occult Brawler instead of Frozen Banshee is a great idea. Ferakin the Fat, you can bring Krella the Witch Arm. Champions that do a bit of damage, have an ally attack. Defense down is very important to focus on, so always try to target a champion that will bring defense down next to that weaken from Helicat, and like that you're gonna be sorted, you know, you don't have to worry about it too much. Plus, you're gonna be dropping in tons and tons of damage in this way, guys. But you know what? I'm gonna fast forward from here towards the end of the run, where we're actually gonna see the total damage that we got from this team. Then we're gonna move over to do a run on Nightmare. Then we're gonna run a different team on Ultra Nightmare to show you how to one-key it with the stats that we had. I'm gonna show you the stats on all the champions, and yeah, I'll be back in just a second. So here we are, guys. We're coming near the end. We have turn 49, 54 million damage, Ultra Nightmare clan boss. Not crazy speeds, very good damage. I'm pretty impressed actually with the damage that we managed to obtain with this team. Skratch, Fane, Frozen Banshee, and we're surviving more than turn 50. Helicat just doesn't want to go down. Skratch doesn't want to go down either because he has that interesting passive with block damage. We survived up to turn 52, 55 million damage, almost 56. Helicat with 9.4, Seeker with 9.1, Skratch with 4.9, Fane with 14.7, and Frozen Banshee with an impressive 17.7. Let's move over to the Nightmare run. Moving over to Nightmare clan boss, guys, the exact same thing. Nothing changes by any means, okay? We're gonna start with the same rotation, so let's crack on it. We're gonna let it go on Oro the very first turn. We're gonna stop it just before Skratch is gonna take his second turn to make sure we're gonna delay that A3 for another turn to be safer, okay? On Spirit Affinity, you do not want to have that extra delay. Just remember that. Okay, we're gonna do that. Oro, and we're back at it. Now, this is Nightmare. On Ultra Nightmare, we've done the exact same thing. I've already gave you examples of what champions you can use. I'm gonna try to don't keep this video too long because I still want to showcase you a different team, doing it with a couple of different champions, and I need to show you the stats on the champions. So right here, how you've seen, the first hit goes on Seeker. The reason for it is because you don't have increased defense on him. That's why the very first hit on the stun goes on him. After, it's gonna move back to HellSeeker because everybody's gonna have increased defense. That's a very, very important buff that affects the clan boss stun. Now, let me show you the results on Nightmare with this team, and then I'm gonna bring in Ferrokin the Fat and Anax instead of Frozen Banshee and Fane, and we're gonna bring Sepulture Sentinel instead of Skratch, and we're gonna do another run on Ultra Nightmare to show you how to 1-key it. Here we are, turn 48, 64 million damage, Nightmare clan boss, the exact same team, the exact same rotation, the exact same amazing result. So we're gonna go for a bit longer. We might even survive more than turn 50 because, hey, we've done it on Ultra Nightmare. I don't see why we wouldn't do this on a Nightmare as well, you know? 66, turn 50, yeah, we managed to survive here with HellSeeker. Turn 50 to 66.66 million damage. Damn, what are these numbers, huh? What are these numbers? If I wanted to get something similar like this, I was never gonna do it. HellSeeker with 12.8 million damage, Seeker with 11, Skratch with 6, Fane with 17.8, Frozen Banshee with 18.8 million damage, and that's Nightmare clan boss. Now, let me bring in another team, let me change a couple of champions and see if we can actually 1-key Ultra Nightmare with this team. Coming back to Ultra Nightmare, we're actually gonna change the team. I mean, a couple of the champions in the team. Basically, the team preset is the same, HellSeeker, Seeker, Sepulture Sentinel again, 2-turn delay on her A2, she only has 2 skills. Anax, I'm not gonna use his A3. I wanna have a higher chance at landing that defense down and keeping it consistent, plus HellSeeker is gonna give me weaken from this skill, the ally attacks from Ferrokin. I'm always gonna have that ally attack, plus he gets to counter attack as well, so we don't need that. Ferrokin the Fat, I'm gonna prioritize the beatdown, always to have more ally attacks, increase crit damage. That's actually gonna help quite a lot. Ferrokin, such an amazing champion. I'm hoping that all of you guys are gonna manage to pull a Ferrokin and an Anax because they are so amazing, so powerful. Anax is the #1 damage dealer as an epic champion in the entire game when we're talking about clan boss. No one else can compete with Anax, trust me when I'm telling you that, because he brings so much. Poisons, weaken, defense down, he's a one-man army, okay? Let's crack on it and let's do a run like this. Let me see what sort of results are we getting with these slightly better champions, right? I feel like Ferrokin the Fat and Anax are much better than Frozen Banshee and Fane, you know? So we're gonna have to do the exact same thing here. We're gonna have to stop it right before Sepulture Sentinel takes another turn. So we do not want to use this. If this would be Spirit, we're gonna use this. But because it's not Spirit, Void Affinity, Force, or Magic, we're gonna go with the A1, delay it for one more turn. Click Oro, and that's about it. Now, Anax hits harder, we have defense down on the A1 from him and Ferrokin the Fat. We have HP burn, which gives us an extra tick. We are losing the poison sensitivity on this team, which can be a bit of a letdown. Instead of having the decreased attack from Fane, we have the decreased accuracy from Anax, so we're still missing one debuff on the bar, you know. I have no accuracy on Sepulture Sentinel just to avoid to land that decreased attack often, you know. It's gonna happen, the 3% chance is gonna proc every now and then, but I wanna avoid to have that on the clan boss. Now, I'm gonna fast forward from here as well, guys. I'm gonna show you the total results, and then we're gonna move over to show you the stats on the champion. Here we are, guys, turn 48. We passed 70 million damage, 75 million damage. Actually, we even have a bit of a room for wiggling here. They're definitely putting in a better work than the other two champions. They're like kind of like a different level. Anax, Ferrokin the Fat, compared to the other champions, are way more powerful. Turn 50, 77 million damage. Helicat with 13.1, Seeker with 12.6, Sentinel with 8.8, Anax with 28.5, Ferrokin with 13.8. Sepulture deals more damage than Scatix, Anax 28 million damage, over 10 million more than Frozen Banshee, Ferrokin as well, very, very impressive. So all around is a very nice team. Now let me quickly show you the stats on the champions. So I'm quickly gonna show you the champions that we use, guys. How I mentioned, this is a budgetish team. We have only one legendary, we have epic champions. They're more attainable than legendary champions. Plus the gear requirements, the speed requirements are definitely not extreme. They're more accessible to the majority of the player base. And Helicat is just a one-man army. Kind of like the same thing with Anax, you know? So he's the only legendary that we actually used in today's video. These are the stats on him. Now, I have him on lifesteal just to make sure that even if he's gonna get damaged, we're gonna get back our HP. Now, if you're running him with Sepulture Sentinel, you're not really gonna need the lifesteal. If you're gonna use a different block debuffs champion that doesn't have such an amazing passive that actually blocks damage, you might want to consider to put him on lifesteal or a regeneration set. Something that will actually allow him to heal back so he's on full HP when the stun hits again. Total stats on him, we have 37k HP. You want to keep the HP as low as possible on your stun target because the damage that the clan boss does on the stun is based on your own HP, on the target's HP. The higher the HP, the harder it's gonna hit. The lower the HP, the lower is gonna hit the clan boss on you as well. 220 speed. I do have full crit rate because Helicat hits pretty hard. I want to get the most out of him in terms of damage. 229 crit damage, 259 accuracy. In terms of masteries, I have offense and support 3. We went with pinpoint accuracy. Giant Slayer as tier 6 because he's a multi-hitter on the A1. Sniper, we have Master Hexer. All these masteries are actually helping us a lot. Moving over to the second champion that is just not replaceable in the team, and that is Seeker. Of course, you can make a very similar team with this at higher speeds. Without Seeker, it's not going to be a 4-to-3 ratio only for Helicat. And then you can actually make a very similar team. I actually have a different video for it. Feel free to check it on the channel, on the Clan Boss playlist if you want to find out more. This is my Seeker. He has a Fatal set, a crit damage set, and a Broken set. Total stats, 3.5k attack, 218 speed, full crit rate, 236 crit damage. Masteries, we have offense, and on support 3 I have statfast. Now that's mainly to avoid the stun when we don't actually want to get stunned with this champion. We cannot counterattack because we have block damage. We cannot counterattack with deterrence because we have block debuffs on the champions when they're landing the stun. So the counterattack masteries are useless for this team, okay? Now, if you want him to be the stun target, go with a different mastery. Go with a tough skin, go on a different tree. Just avoid masteries like Cycle of Magic, avoid masteries like Rapid Response, because this will kill your team, okay? Will kill the team. And maybe you might want to try to get more defense if you make him the stun target. Give him a defense ring, a defense banner instead of the attack, because that's what I have on him at the moment. Moving over to the other two important champions that I actually have built. Sepulture Sentinel. So this is the build on her. I have a crit damage set, I have a resilience and a broken set on her. Total stats, we have 40k HP, 4200 defense. She deals damage based on defense, and this defense is enough to keep her alive all the way up to turn 50 without a problem. Trust me when I'm telling you that. I've done tons of different teams like this 2 years ago, before we even had Helicat. So this is a team that I actually strategized ages ago to use a stun target like this. Then we have 206 speed. We have 99 crit rate, 220 crit damage. No accuracy because we don't want to land that attack down, okay? Very, very important to avoid that. Masteries, we have offense and support 3 again. Tier 6, we have War Master. Very important to get Heart of Glory because you're going to be on full HP all the time. And again, Statfast. I don't want to land a stun on her only if it's Spirit Affinity. And that's going to happen regardless, just so you know. Because the clan boss is going to go for the weakest affinity. And she's going to be that champion in the team. So this is Sepulture Sentinel. The next champion that I want to showcase is Scatix. Now you've seen him in action. I have him built on a Immortal, a Resilience, and a Speed set. Total stats on him, we have 55k HP. We have 2.7k attack, 206 speed, 94 crit rate, 210 crit damage. Now, if we're gonna make Skratch the stun target on Spirit Affinity, you wanna make sure you're dropping the HP lower, so don't give him so much HP. Masteries, we have offense and support 3, we have tier 6 War Master. Now, with Skratch, if you wanna have him as the stun target on Spirit Affinity, you wanna make sure you don't have Steadfast, because he's not gonna be weak affinity on Spirit, and you want that clan boss to prioritize him as the stun target. So make sure you're dropping Steadfast, because this makes the clan boss to avoid this target for the stun, okay? Very important. So these are kind of like the key champions, right? We have different options for a block debuffs champion. You can use Smash Lord. You can use Glishea, actually. I actually forgot to mention her, which is this champion right here. She's actually another viable option because she has it block debuffs on a 4-turn cooldown and is for 2 turns. She's a decent option to instead of Skratch or whoever else you have available. Jingwon, another surprising option there. Now, in terms of DPS, I'm gonna show you just the ones that I used because I don't have gear on the others and I don't wanna confuse anyone. We actually used from here, let's just see who we had in the team. Spirit Affinity, we had quite a few. Farrakhan the Fat, these are the stats that I have on him. I have a broken set, a crit rate set, accuracy set, total stats 4.2k attack, 185 speed, 100 crit rate, 221 crit damage, 258 accuracy. Not crazy attack. Masteries, we have offense and support 3, cycle of magic, sniper, and we have master hexer. Important just to have that ally attack more often, to land the poisons more often. Anax. Now, when you're building damage dealers for clan boss, make sure the best gear that you have, you're prioritizing it on the main damage dealer, because he's gonna drop the biggest amount of damage in your team. In my case was Anax. So the total stats that I have on him: 5.1k attack, 182 speed, 102 crit rate, 245 crit damage, and 249 accuracy. Now I have a perception set, a crit damage set, and a cruel set. Get attack, get crit damage, get accuracy, kind of like combine them all together just to get better stats on him all around. Masteries, offense and support 3, cycle of magic again for his A2, sniper, master hexer for his A1 and the rest of the debuffs. So as a champion, Anax is very, very powerful. I'm a big fan of this champion. Pain. So I have her on a perception, I have her on a crit rate, and a broken set. Total stats 5.2k attack, almost 5.3. She has an insane high base attack, almost 1700, so getting high attack on Pain is pretty easy actually. 186 speed, 100 crit rate, 240 crit damage, 287 accuracy. Again, she is considered the main damage dealer in the team with her and Frozen Banshee, so I prioritized the best damage gear that I had on this champion. Masteries, offense and support 3, again very similar with the others. Cycle of Magic, Master Hexer, tier 6, we have War Master on her as well. And I have Frozen Banshee as well. I have her on a cruel set, a crit damage and an accuracy. Total stats 3.1k attack, 182 speed, 100 crit rate, 237 crit damage, 252 accuracy. And mastery, sorry, we have offense, support 3, sniper, master hexer, and I was supposed to take cycle of magic, but for some reason seems like I didn't. These were my champions, these were the stats on them, guys. Definitely more accessible to the majority of the player base, and even if you cannot really reach these stats, you can still easily get a 2-key Ultra Nightmare or a 1-key Nightmare. You've seen the damage difference that we had with the stats that we have on these champions. Definitely a very accessible team to the majority of the player base. But that was all for this video, guys. Let me know in the comments down below what do you think of the team and how many of you guys are actually gonna build her and what damage dealers you're gonna use. But that was all for this video. Much love, appreciate all of you guys watching, and I'll catch you all soon in the next one. Peace.